Well, hello, commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism, enlisted in the Army of Gmodism, who might think you want to upgrade to a commissioned officer. Who knows? Today we're going to continue to look at the special access files for the commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism. That's the Patreons. So all of those that are supporting the channel, it's on all levels, so under $1 a month, or it's the lowest level you could have on Patreon. Actually, it's the lowest level they provided. I set that as the level for entry because I want if anyone wants to support the channel, however small, I want them to be able to, and I want them to get something for it. So if you join there on any level, you'll get access to the files. Of course, higher tiers have more rewards. That makes a lot of sense, but all the tiers have the files. Today we're going to look at the sub-objects, right? So on the sub-objects, that means turrets, AIPods, and whatnot. So I'm going to show you all of these. Some of these can, of course, be obtained for free by looking at my Steam workshop and saving the turrets manually yourself. But the sub-objects here, not only are there a lot more of them, they are also kept updated to the latest standard, and you might not, and you will not get a weird ship-specific setting for them. One thing I like to do with most of my turrets, like the APS turrets, is that I like to install a ammo controller on the turret, which means that all Gmodism Industries and Army of Gmodism and whatnot turrets, they're like plug and play. You can just like accept the diff guns, but you can just plunk them down and they'll have the ammo already installed inside of them. So that makes it so handy because I'm really lazy, and I guess a lot of other people are also pretty lazy. I don't want to set up the ammo type every time because there is usually one ammo type that's optimal for a specific turret, and then I kind of want that to already be set up for that turret. Also, if you are a commissioned officer already and you have an older version of my files, I recommend you to overwrite the old version because a lot of the time I just update some old turrets and fix them with new settings and refurbish them, add some details from time to time. So if you don't overwrite the old files, you'll miss out on that. Anyways, let's dive into all of these turrets and sub-objects. Let's check it out. So we're here at the testing platform. We have APS turrets, we have CIWS and anti-munition systems, we have CRAM turrets, we have decoration, we have flamer turrets, we have laser turrets, we have missile turrets, we have pack, plasma, propulsion, simple turrets, tracking and detection. So let's start from the bottom. Tracking and detection. I got some different tracking and detection towers, like this thing here, the mini thing there, we have the ballistic tracker here, and we have the lightweight tracker there. So basically they're set up with different aspects in mind. We'll need one of these, what are they called? They're called coincidence rangefinders, right? They're really good for ballistic tracking. So if you want to have accurate CRAM cannons, you need some ballistic tracker, right? We have directional cameras built in, and also gimbal cameras to really give a good accurate bearing and detection. We have different ones in the different units. And this one is, of course, the most decorated one with a I don't know, watching sergeant standing on top of here, looking through the looking glass and helping us detect stuff. This is, by the way, EMP insulated. So if we just look here, this one is a little bit too tiny, can't EMP insulate it. This one was a little bit hard too. Is this one? No, this is not. This one is, however, EMP insulated, so you can hit this all you want with EMP, and it basically won't take any EMP damage. This one is a pretty redundant thing for EMP. And having a tracker turret, of course, helps a lot with detection, because then the cameras and stuff will be pointed towards the enemy and will almost guarantee that we see the enemy basically. And then we have some basic simple turrets. They're super basic, but I use them from time to time. The only thing that's, I mean, neat is supposedly the settings, not for that one, or the other one. Yeah, we have revolving blast guns here and there. And when we have a system like this, of course, we have some mimics, but we also set them up so they won't activate over 400 meters range, because the blast guns won't work very well when shot from far away. And then, yeah, that's basically that. Now, the AIPods are pretty neat. I use them for most of my ships here. And you can see that inside of here, the power required to use one of these is listed. So it's pretty handy. We have a really big AIPod here. This is the one that's on the Gimli, or is it this one? I don't remember. Anyways, the AIPods are really good at providing maneuverability and propulsion. Here we have some of these that are not steam, and a tiny one for smaller boats. We do have a paddle wheel as well. This is used on the SIWS. So that can provide a lot of thrust actually, but of course it requires enormous amounts of engine power if you want to use them spinning fast. Then we also have a vertical AIPod. Now that gets stuck here. And that's of course supposed to be used like this. And it can be placed on, let's place it here actually. Well, we'll have to put it one block outward. Oh well, never mind. It doesn't need that. It's just that it's a fortress, so it won't spin. Anyways, this can be controlled using ACBs, and I have a prefab with ACBs to control them, so that they will pitch forward when you go forwards and pitch backward when you go backwards. We can have some more details about that, but it's basically an AIPod for aircraft, right? You can set them up however you want. It's just an AIPod. Moving on, we have plasma turrets. So, we got the Belinus, of course, big one. And we have a Belinus Light, and that's because it's alloy. Has a bit longer rods like that. It's not more accurate or anything like that, it's just to prevent it shooting itself as often. And then we have the plasma scattergun. This is a shotgun plasma. We can actually fire them here. The Belinuses are pretty insane. Now the scattergun, this thing, I don't know if it will fire, but whatever. It is indeed a charge plasma system, as you can see here. So that thing takes like forever to reload. But it also deals a lot of damage, right? Well, moving on. We have another charge plasma system. This is used for the. This is also used on the Sheriff, and this is the bomb. It is bomb but plasma. It fires a huge slug. We can check here. It fires a huge slug of 64 projectiles in a. You might imagine it's a shotgun, right? But it really isn't. It fires one big purple charge that deals enormous damage for the size of this thing. It's super slow reload though, and I filled it with some batteries since we require batteries to fire plasma, right? And it's of course supposed to be mounted on the sides of ships and airships or anything else that needs a broadside. It's a broadside cannon, but it can of course be front mounted. The Dominus X, the plasma scattergun. That's a good name, I forgot that. Here we have the Primus Plasma, and this is actually primarily a CIWS cannon. That depends a little bit how you set up the these weapon controllers. So if the weapon controller is set up to prioritize over the CIWS controller, then it will foremost, I can't talk today, then it will mostly shoot at the enemy and then sometimes at projectiles. And right now it's set up to shoot at projectiles if there are any, otherwise shoot at the enemy. This is a continuous plasma system, so it just shoots streams all the time. It feels like a light sheep gun, but then you realize that it costs 50,000. Anyways, here we have the Streaks Plasma Mark 1, and this is like 3 tiny shots of plasma. Very cute, but very handy. So it has some pretty built-in redundancy, right? And 17,000 materials is pretty cheap for plasma, and it provides some continuous damage towards some targets. Moving on, we have the pack turrets, and I actually only have one pack turret. I'm not a huge pack fan. I'm not the best pack builder either, but this shoots 3 different shots. They are not synced up because that doesn't work when you copy it over to other things, but you can sync it up afterwards. One is impact, one is piercing, and one is EMP. So of course it's great if I'd imagine that you'll have an impact first and then a piercing and lastly an EMP, but set them up whatever order. Whoa. Wonder what happened there. But this is of course how it should be. Just a nice plasma blast like this. Then we have some crazy missile turrets actually. We have the Mallet deck launcher. We have this thing, which is the over-under pneumatic deck launcher. We have the Matchbox anti-air incendiary deck launcher. And there we have 2 smoke teasers. They're a little bit boring. But anyways, this shoots miniature matchboxes. Like, isn't that so fun? If we just pause it here, you can see they are like they are like matchsticks, but missiles, and they are looking like they're on fire too. And they are of course incendiary, meant to shoot at incoming. Yeah. This is a pneumatic system, so this only fires using air pressure. It has no fuel, and it deals kinetic and heat damage. And then we have the, I don't know, did the mullet fire? No, I think the mullet can't fire since it has a closed thing here. But this is like a really big kinetic missile that deals huge damage. Very fun. Then we have the laser turrets. The laser turrets are not having anything on them really. They are just to be connected up to a bigger laser system. They are of course redundant, EMP insulated. We have the classical version here you see on the Gimle, and then you have an aerodynamic version which you'll see on the Sheriff. So and they have some specific settings inside of them to help them target the right targets on the LVC, local weapon controller. You can check it out a little bit more in detail if you want to, but it's pretty simple. The thing with laser turrets is of course, well, watch my laser tutorial, but you'll need to direct a beam of laser energy, you know, into it using the laser transceivers. Basically just under this turret block in the middle. It will go upward like this, and we can connect a laser storage to that beam. Next out we have our flamer turrets. We have the pretty big bad Icarus system, which is a 3 flame nozzle system. It's really big, does a lot of damage. Then we have something more sensible like the AA burner, and then the high performance burner class B here, which makes more sense installed on the Pigeon, for example. They all deal a lot of flame damage obviously. But personally, I think the Icarus is very fun, but it's 100k for a flamer, so that's pretty insane. The thing is that this has only fuel, And this has a mix, so it has higher intensity and some oxidizer, which you can't have on a system like this. But this is more bang for the buck if you compare the performance. This is just insane and fun. Then we have some pretty fun stuff. This was actually submitted by Nilden. So Nilden is a matros in the Army of Gmodism. And this is actually an energy generating setup, but it's on a sub-object, so we can have all those beautiful details. And yeah, doesn't it look amazing? It's like gears and stuff spinning around, so it's super advanced. And inspired from that, I wanted to build a V10 engine also on a spin block, of course, to make it have this angle. And this is basically a, well, it's a steam engine that is a V10. So that's why I wanted to put them in this angle, so we could actually have the V movement going on there. Pretty neat, I think. Brassy and nice. I want to have this on a car or something. It's really fun. You can have energy generation on sub-objects. Now, CRAM turrets I built a lot, so we won't look through all of them in too much detail. But, whoops, we'll have some different ones here on the smaller one. So, for example, the lead cast brass one, we have the 1650mm there. We have the crusher, which is a previous turret for the gimlet. This is a real big. It uses hollow point. We have the detonator Mark II, and the detonator Mark III, which is going to be put on a future and more updated, upgraded version of the gimlet. We got the dragon's claw here. We have so many ones. The holy power is the largest one. It's an incendiary CRAM turret. It's insane. Stealth dagger you've seen before. It's a little bit stealthy. Many, of course, these you have seen before. We even have a CRAM mortar here on the gimlets. We have the pipe organ, and we have the Type A's in different configurations here. Different classes and configurations here. So let's see here. This is a little bit more accurate. That's a nice one. That's on the Filke. Yeah. And we have Gmodism Industries flak CRAM. This is a new one actually, and it's made to shoot down airplanes. Very nice. Maybe not so new. Maybe it's not new, but we have the Delta Corp Type 9 Airburst AA CRAM, and this thing shoots a layer of shrapnel in front of the enemy aircrafts. So yeah, it's an airburst CRAM. I don't see if we'll see it detonate. Probably not. Anyways, it's laser targeted, of course. So a while ago we streamed with Rorsten and this CRAM cannon, which is called, what is it called? Arkem Quad. I was pretty impressed with this thing when we streamed with Rorsten, so maybe the type of design will get stolen and put on some future Deepwater Guard build. It's pretty nice. It's also flak based. I think it's laser targeted too. Now the CIWS and anti-munition system, we have a lot of different ones here. We have, for example, Vigoletta Precision, Kinetic CIWS. That's a new, that's actually a new system. And we have the Exacto, also Kinetic CIWS. Here we have my older Kinetic CIWS, which is much more expensive, but works pretty well. That's also on the Gimle. Here we have the Type I flak. So it's a flak system, but it's not super good. Let's see here. This one is a better flak cannon in that case. It's on the Eugen actually. Here we have CRAM CIWS. So this is actually a CRAM cannon that is set up as a CIWS cannon, will detonate in the air with a big explosion, and does actually reliably take out many things. It doesn't deal enough damage to take out Doom CRAM, but it's really good to clean up missiles. So that's nice. Here we have the Type A's, and these are my very nice little anti-missile and CRAM turrets. They're pretty accurate. Since they aim towards the target, they're really good. Here we have the Orion Combined SpeedX. It's very good at shooting incoming CRAMs and missiles. Expensive though. So let's see here. Here we have Type X, and this is a pneumatic CIWS system, so it only fires using air pressure. Here is a torpedo CIWS used for, this is of course for underwater use, gonna be placed under ships. Same as the Submarina, but this is instead a kinetic CIWS system for underwater use. And they are of course having their shells included, so it's gonna be real easy to install them. This is a little bit experimental, but it's a charged laser CIWS cannon, short range. Should work well in theory, haven't tested it too extensively. The AOG Shred and the AOG Shroud are two pneumatic CIWS systems. So they are just placing them here in the air, and they are actually provide really good damage. And the upside with using pneumatic CIWS is that the reload time is like cut down to, I think it's only 10 seconds per missile. So we got the Shrapnel Frag CIWS 2. This is pretty good, but doesn't hit too reliably. So the Shrapnel Flak version is much more reliable. But the thing is, when you have a frag CIWS, if you hit dead on a target, you can deal more damage than a flak. We did, or rather, not we, Cadet Kovrax did some good testing with that a while ago, so I decided to try and build my own. Here we have a subsurface, another subsurface system to shoot at the incoming things. Crackler APS. This is my only burst flak system. Now burst flak can be very powerful, but of course the reload time is very long. This system deals 136,000 damage in one like blast, so that will take out many Doom CRAMs. And we got the good old Defender that has a lot of missiles on it. Then we have an extensive amount of different diff CIWS systems. You've seen most of them, and neither of these of course have built-in. This is from Setup, by the way, as it says the Setup's manual. But these of course require us to add an ammo to them. My favorite is probably the Vigoletta Skyfire. It proves to be pretty efficient. The S-Corp Iron is pretty good though for the cost. Yeah, of course, all of them are good-ish because otherwise I wouldn't have them in the folder. Then the only thing that's left is the APS turrets. So same here, we got APS diff guns. Here we can see the one on the Sheriff Deputy. The Octodads, they are pretty crazy. They actually have built-in shells. That's the only diff gun with built-in shells. And they fire 8 shots each, 8 times, what is it? It's like 8 times 5 is the number shot of it has. Here we have the regular one. So they can deal a lot of damage from a very cheap turret, since it's only cost 6 or 9,000, but we get 500mm almost super scary shots. Anyways, we have a broadside cannon here. So we have a diff broadside with three shots. I think it's pretty cool. And we have a single broadside here. That's present on the Sheriff. This thing, this diff damage gun, I think looks pretty cool. Yeah, we have many different ones. Check around and find your favorite. You'll see the stats on them. Yeah. I like the Skyfire so much I did a damage diff gun version of it. Oh, and we have smaller ones too. This is like the manual gun, so it's a 67mm diff gun, so it fires like... It looks like a manual gun and it fires every 6 seconds or something, dependent on the shell you put in it. I think it looks nice though. For the APS cannons, you've seen many of them. This is the Arquebalista, which I like a lot, which has like max penetrative capability and a design I'm very happy about. We also have the Bolter, which is huge, expensive systems with a nice sound. We have the Dome, Fang. Fang Shield Killer is fun. It's built to basically help with taking out shields. I wonder, was the horror part of the Draconia? No? Can't remember. It's a pretty sniper one though. Mini Bolter looks the same as the Bolter. Here we have a deck gun. I'm looking forward to use this on the Ashes of the Empire. And even though this is like a tiny deck gun, it actually has ammo built into it. And the good old Scorpio as well. It's a nice one. Oh, and here we have the shrapnel laser, but this one is dealing damage instead of shooting at incoming projectiles. This is like an AA gun surrounding the enemy aircrafts in a cloud of frag. Fort SA Model 9. We have different sizes, the taller and the shorter one. And that is a Minimaxed Sandblaster. It's a gunpowder based sandblaster. I'm looking forward to use this in future builds. And we got some older ones too, like the Bang Bang and the Pankasus and the Cheddar. They look really fun though. 500mm small shell autocannon. The Type K is pretty small but pretty efficient. The Type J perforator. This is this is on the Ryujin. This is a railgun. It's a pure railgun, so no rail assist. It's no gunpowder, it's only railgun. Then we of course have many, I don't show you all of them of course, but we have all the different Vigoletta marksmans. We have the big sniper, and then we have the M5, M6 and M7, and all of these are machine gunny, super accurate, and they essentially use the same shell actually. So they're all basically equally good, they only have different fire rate. Yeah. They're super nice. I think they use the same shell actually, all of them. Oh, and the Hexaburst of course, which is on our hover tank. This thing is a burst gun. It fires 6 like bursts. I got a tutorial too if you want to make burst guns. I don't like them that much, but it's cool to be able to make them. Man, I'm a bit sad that the only time I've been able to use the Bolter is on the S. Davidos class. The Bolter is so darn expensive, but it's pretty good too, I think. It uses 3 different shells. It's rail assisted, it's definitely a personal favorite. Well anyways, that is indeed all of the sub-objects, I believe. I haven't showed you all of them in detail, of course, you'll have to explore some yourself there. Hope you enjoyed looking at them though. And remember, if you download the files, if you're asked to overwrite the previous versions of the turrets, unless you change them yourself, you should, because sometimes I put an update to a turret and then upload it to the file. So even though you may have it, there may be a better version in the new updated version of the files if you have already downloaded the files once. Well, I hope you enjoyed my sub-objects there. Perhaps we got a new commissioned officer from this video. Who knows? Who knows? You knows. I don't know if you knows. Are you Hugh? Anyways, but if you want to support the channel, the commissioned officer option is a great way to do it. The higher tiers will make me build something for you too and from the depth, which I think is pretty fun. And I hope you think it's fun too. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching. This is your host, Eric, your Lord High Admiral, and we're signing out. Remember, we stream live on Twitch. That's all the tiers of the enlisted and the commissioned officers as well. Yes. Anyways, see you.